Alrighty, so a lot of you may be wondering, how exactly do you adjust the fan speed on your desktop computer? Maybe it's too loud, maybe you want more sufficient cooling. For example, for me, I wanted much more cooling. Because of my rendering with Adobe Premiere Pro, it used up a lot of power on my little 6700K, which caused it to ride up on like 78 degrees sometimes when it was overclocked, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. So basically this is going to be a quick short video, get to the point. If you're on an MSI motherboard, all you would go is you'd press the delete when you boot up, your delete key, and it booted up. Other ones may have different things. Refer to your motherboard for that. It may be F8. It may be one of those F keys. It depends on what type of motherboard build you are. If you're a Gigabyte, if you are an ASRock or Asus or whatever. But mainly what this allows you to do is to adjust the fan speed, which is a very important thing if you're ever into overclocking, which as you can see, we have 4.5 gigahertz on the CPU die, here we are. And we also increased our DDR speed to 3200, which is actually above our 3000 megahertz speed on our Corsair Vengeance LPX modules. So simply all you do, and generally you want to work with a custom built PC, a PC that has a motherboard that wasn't designed by mainstream companies that we can do this. For other than that, I can recommend fan speed, and there's a multitude of other different in-apps that you can get in Windows to adjust it. But if you simply have a motherboard that was from a custom PC, or a PC that allows you to overclock, basically any PC that allows you to overclock will have this. And most of the time, ones that don't even allow you to overclock will have a fan speed integrated into the motherboard BIOS here. So basically all you do, enough of the chit chat, you go to the hardware monitor, and this will be different on different motherboards. You'll have to go locate your hardware monitor or fan control. If you're on your easy mode on MSI, again, you would go to your fan info. So from the fan info, you would go there, and as you can see, you can control it. But I like to go to the advanced, I don't know if you can see that, advanced, which is up in that top right-hand corner. Click that, and now we are into the advanced. We simply go to the hardware monitor, and it opens up this nice big page, which is where I like to do my stuff. So here we have our CPU and system. I like to look at our CPU. So right now we're at 39 degrees Celsius, idling at nothing really. We're not doing anything intense, we're just sitting in the BIOS, which does not take up a lot of processing power at all. So as you can see, let me explain to you how this fan curve works. And because I know personally myself, I did not understand how the fan curve works. So basically you want to grab this, okay? And as you can see here on this bar right here, it shows our percentage. So when we're at right here, you see we're the dark blue, right here, dark blue, okay? 40 degrees Celsius when the CPU fan when the CPU hits 40 degrees Celsius, the fan will turn on at 15% load, okay? Then it cranks it up a little bit more as it gets hotter and hotter. You can see the line right here, the fan curve is what it's called because it is a curve. You see right here, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. As you can see here, we go on 40% when it gets to 55 C, okay? Then it curves up more, 75% fan at 70 degrees C, and then at 85%, 85 C Celsius, it goes to 100% because basically if you're at 85, you might as well kick it all up to like your PC better sound like a jet engine or else something's really wrong with it. That 85 degrees Celsius your processor's sitting at and it's a quiet little rock, that's bad. CPU 2, you don't have to worry about that unless you have, for example, a pump or an AIO, anything really to do with that. You may even have a CPU 3 depending on how many pumps you have. Generally, you would have 1 or 2. For me, this is not applicable. System Fan 1, System Fan 2, and System Fan 3 are applicable. This all depends on how many fans you have in your case. So, again, same property here. All you do is you drag and drop. So I like to keep it at 40 and 40, the load is. And then as we go up a little bit, it goes higher, higher, and higher, okay? Now, I like to have Smart Fan Mode enabled. If you have it disabled, all you have is one steady thing. It's not adaptive, it's not what they call PWM, which means that, I forgot what it stands for, but it means that it's adjustable to your temperature. So I always like to keep that Smart Fan Mode on. It may be labeled as PWM or Smart Fan Mode depending on the manufacturer of your motherboard. So just keep that enabled. As you can see, we have it on all of them. And generally, I like to keep the fan curve on the same. The reason why it may be a little bit different from here to here, which they aren't actually, is you may decide to, as you can see, our RPMs, okay? As you can see, System Fan 1 just so happens that it's in the back of the case, where the CPU is the closest. System Fan 2 and 3 are both in the front and the intake. So the reason why is because the sensors on System Fan 1, or the temperature sensors built into the motherboard around it, are sensing that it's a bit hotter, which makes sense in relative to the CPU's temperature. So there you go, it ramps up a bit at around 840 RPMs, so really it's dead quiet. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but you guys probably can't, but it is super quiet. It's dead silent. The only reason why I may recommend not turning this on is because of maybe you don't like the fans ramping up. Because one of the things that a lot of people complain about with enabling this is that you just need to be wary of is if you do decide to go this route of the Smart Fan Mode or PWM, you have to make sure, one, that with PWMs, you have to make sure that your fans are PWM compatible, meaning that they have 4 prongs on the plug to your fan into the motherboard. Because on the motherboard, you'll have 4 prongs to plug into the fan module. If you only have 3 prongs, then you're out of luck. You only have you do not have a PWM fan, which means that it's not variable. It's non-variable. It can't ramp up the RPMs because, well, it doesn't have a sensor. Your motherboard can't really talk to it and figure out what RPM to send it at, you know, because that 4th pin on it is what determines how fast it's going on the RPMs. And if you don't have it, then you can always find a fan curve, generally, and adjust it there. But it will not have the PWM where it can decide on what temperature it is and where to adjust it down to. So that's basically a little thing. As you can see on the right here, you have the key. So the lightest blue turns on at 85C 100%, so on and so forth. And basically, if you wanted, you could even turn this down all the way to 0. Say, for example, we were at, I don't know, but say, for example, we were at, I don't know, 40 degrees C. You wanted to turn that fan all the way down, you could. Really, I do not recommend this. I would always recommend having your fans running at all times. It doesn't matter about the dust. It doesn't matter about your collection of how much wear the fan gets on it, or because fans do not wear. Trust me, guys, I have had a 10-year-old PC that the fans have not quit on it, and that thing has been idling for basically all of its life. I'd say maybe 8 years it's been on idle. So no worries about ruining your bearings and your fans. So please, unless you know strictly what you're doing, do not set these to 0. If you want the fan to turn on to 0 RPMs, then sure, you can, but please be wary that if you do, make sure that they come on at least a little bit up here, so that way if it does develop some heat, you can, because unless your PC is set up to be passively cooled, it's definitely not. So, and a CPU fan, do not do that, just because CPU is always making heat. So, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped you out. like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more helpful content. Bye!